How the Bear Lost His Tail. Believe it or not, there was a time when the bear had a lovely long, furry tail quite unlike the short, stumpy one he sports today. But how did he lose his long, furry tail? It's quite the story. The bear was very proud of his beautiful tail. He took great care of it and spent hours brushing it out and keeping it glossy and tangle-free. Wherever he went, he would spread it out like a fan behind him, and people had to walk around it. Everyone was very careful around him, and if they stepped on it by accident, he would nearly snap their head off. The bear's tail was also his main conversation topic. Whoever he met, he would ask, "Don't you think my tail is the most beautiful tail you've ever seen?" As you can imagine, the animals didn't think much of his foolish bear, who had nothing to talk about except the glory of his tail. However, all of them were frightened of his big claws and didn't want to make him angry. So, without exception, they all told him, "Yes, indeed, bear, yours is the most magnificent tail in the whole world, and it makes you really smart and handsome." On hearing this, the bear would beam with pride and feel 10 feet tall. However, he wouldn't have been so happy only if he'd known what was coming to him. As it turned out, among the animals who admired his tail was one who has resolved to teach him a lesson he would never forget. This was none other than the fox, who was furious with him ever since the day he had slapped him for treading on his precious tail. From then on, the fox had been biding his time, awaiting revenge. One icy cold day, the bear went lumbering down the lake in the middle of the winter. The lake was completely frozen. As he neared the lake, he saw a most alluring spectacle. On the bank sat the fox, and he was surrounded by a pile of fish. The bear's stomach was rumbling with hunger, and his mouth watered at the sight of so many delicious-looking fishes. He approached the bear and said, "Hello, brother fox. Where did you get all those fish?" This was the moment the fox had been waiting for. "Why, I caught them, of course, from that hole," he said nonchalantly, pointing to the hole in the ice. "But how?" asked the bear in bewilderment. "You don't have any fishing tool, so what did you use to fish?" In reality, of course, the fox had been seeing him approaching from afar and carefully hidden his fishing implements, making up his mind to play a trick on the bear. "With my tail, as usual," he answered. Now the bear was really astonished. "With your tail? But how can you fish with your tail?" he asked. "Why, bear, don't tell me you don't know the art of fishing with one's tail," exclaimed the fox in mock surprise. "Don't you know it's the best method to catching fish?" "Really?" asked the bear. "Fancy, I never knew that. Can I catch fish with my tail too?" "Sure, why not?" replied the fox, turning away to hide his smile. "With a long and beautiful tail like yours, you'll never go hungry. You can always catch as many fish as you want to eat. Would you like me to show you how to do it?" "Oh, yes, please," said the bear. The fox peered into the hole in the ice and said, "There's no more fish left in this one. Let's go to another part of the lake where there's more fish." He led the bear to a shallow part of the lake. The bear swiftly dug a hole in the ice with his claws. "Here's how you do it," said the fox. "Sit down with your back to the hole and drop your tail into the water." The bear obeyed, wincing at the contact with the icy water. However, he wanted the fish, so he said, "I'll forget about the cold." "Now," said the fox, "you'll feel when the fish bite. Sit absolutely still and wait until a number of fishes have bitten on your tail, and then you can pull onto your tail with your magnificent catch." The bear's mouth watered. He scratched himself with pleasure. "Don't move," ordered the fox, and he sat still. "Good," said the fox. "I'll watch from those trees so I don't scare any away of the fishes." The bear sat stiffly, thinking about the fish jumping onto his tail. It was tiring, and after a while, he kind of dozed off. It became very cold, and it started to snow. The fox collected his fish and returned home. After a couple of hours, he came back to the lake. He saw that the bear was still exactly as he left him. His fur coat, though, was completely covered with snow, and he was snoring away to glory. It was such a ludicrous sight that the fox burst out laughing. Finally, he composed himself and went up to the bear. He then shouted, "Bear! Bear! Wake up! There's a fish on your tail. Can you feel it?" Startled, the bear woke up. He could feel a sharp pain on his behind. "Oh, yes. I feel it. he cried, and he jumped up, and the next moment there was a popping sound. Looking behind him, he saw, to his frozen horror, that his beautiful black tail had snapped right off. There it lay, as if mocking him, a stiff frozen lump of fur stuck in the transparent ice. All that was left of his backside was a small stump. Gone was his long bushy tail. "Oh no, my lovely long tail," wailed the poor bear. The fox ran away, laughing heartily. The bear would have given anything to be able to get his hands on the fox if he had caught him that day. But the fox knew this, and he was crafty enough to get out of his way. And this is how the bear lost his beautiful long tail. To this day, bears sport short, stumpy tails. If you ever hear a bear groaning, it is because he is still thinking of the lovely long tail he lost that day.